Right now on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m., bundle up and prepare to leave a little earlier.
It's a Denver 7 weather action day as a fresh coat of snow blankets the Front Range overnight.
I'm already seeing several crashes across Metro Denver here this morning. Our team is spread out to give you an early look at conditions for your commute.
I'm Denver 7's Veronica Acosta. We're driving in the South Metro where roads seem to be covered in snow, icy in some patches as well.
I'm Denver 7's Jessica Crawford, and I have a look at the cold weather conditions that you'll experience as you drive through Aurora this morning.
Well, the damage has been done. A lot of snow on the ground. It's icy and it is cold. Skies are clearing out a bit, but we may see a few areas with some light snow later today. We're tracking that and a big weekend warm-up. Details coming up.
And let's get right out to the roads. This is C470 and the I-25 ramp heading onto westbound 470. You can see those roads are covered in snow and ice. Those bridges and overpasses can get very slick, so just go slow. And we are seeing areas getting more snow today than they did last night.
Yeah, we saw a lot of slipping and sliding yesterday at this time, and again this morning. Our team is helping you navigate what could be a tricky drive into work or school. We're going to check in with our traffic expert Jason Luber here shortly. It's also really cold out there. Negative degrees in a lot of places. In fact, Lisa, we broke a record that went back to the 1930s this morning.
Yeah, 7 below out at DIA. Burr. It's not really warming up much, and it won't for a while. In fact, we're only going to see highs in the teens today. Right now, as you're stepping out the door, 2 in Commerce City. Well, it's now at least above 0 there out at the airport. 2 degrees. Golden, though, you're below it. 4 below. Evergreen right now, 10 degrees below 0. It's going to be one of the coldest mornings, though, on our Super 7 day. Things will gradually warm up from here. Our highs, though, today only in the teens to low 20s. We've got Denver at right around 20 to about 23 this afternoon, so that's about 30 degrees below normal. Now, when it comes to snow, most of the snow has fallen, but we are going to see more by this afternoon, and Denver's going to be just on the northern edge of it. More of those heavier totals will be south toward the Springs and Pueblo. You can see that here on Futurecast, but we may see a few light snow showers here just because we're on that northern edge of it. I'll give you a better idea of this, how it's all going to clear out, and just how much warmer it gets this weekend coming up.
And right now we have those slick conditions to deal with. We saw it down on C470 at I-25. We'll take a look at more of those conditions. This is 225 at Alameda. Had a crash right there before 6th Avenue. That's now clearing out of lanes. 270 near York had some problems there. This is I-25 trying to get up past a crash by 6th Avenue. And this is I-70 over by, there's a crash by Ward Road. So the westbound side really heavy from before Kipling. So you can see on the map a lot of problem spots here this morning, including that I-25 issue getting across 6th Avenue. That's why it's over 20 minutes here. Speeds dropping down into the 40s for the most part. Heavy traffic, even though we had lanes blocked, now open on 225, and those side roads through Aurora are really slick for us. There's that slowing now on I-70, getting out past that wreck at Ward Road. And even though it might look clear in some areas, like up to the north on I-25, you might be around 136th Avenue going, hey, it looks basically clear. It is still very icy in a lot of those spots for you. And then you'll transition to a place, maybe going down to Littleton or going down to Southwest Plaza, and you're going to find a lot of ice and snow down there here this morning. And down here by C470 and Broadway, I've seen quite a bit of ice and snow through Highlands Ranch. Veronica Acosta has been driving down there across C470. And Veronica, maybe you've noticed it too, but where they've dropped a lot of the de-icer, it looks more wet, and then you come across some areas that don't see it, and then you have all that snow cover.
That's exactly it. On those smaller streets here like Broadway, you'll see it's damp, the road is. That's definitely not the case on the actual highway though. We're on the on-ramp here, 470 West at Broadway. You can see we shifted there a bit. It's hard to get on the road and drive on these streets because, as you can see, they're completely snow covered. You do have some icy patches. These on ramps and off ramps, they always tend to be the worst, and that is, of course, as the morning goes on. You can see it here. It's tough to even drive, and we're in a pretty big vehicle. Some of these cars, they're definitely taking their time this morning, not going too fast. Mostly everybody has been going about half the speed that they typically go. We're only going about 30 miles an hour ourselves right now on the actual highway portions of it. You can see the roadway. That's because there has been some traffic here and there. But take a look at this right side portion of 470 West. You can see it is completely covered in snow. Not too many cars heading down this way. Even this vehicle right in front of us not going too fast either. We did take I-25 south, and then we took that interchange before 470 west, and that was probably the worst portion we've seen all morning. So if that's a commute you typically get on, just be careful there. It is going to be slow rather. It is snow covered, so definitely something to watch out for. Those ice patches, they can be deceiving as well, and that's something we've seen all morning long. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, and we just saw a little car with a faster speed going right by you there. So certainly take it easy out there this morning. You don't want to be outside for too long either, whether you're at the bus stop or the train station. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford at the RTD station off Florida Avenue. We know the trains are running fine. How are the roads looking?
Yes, the trains seem to be running just fine. We see a few of them already come here. The roads are looking pretty good as well. So a little bit earlier, we heard talk about, some of the areas across the metro that may have had the de-icer on them, how the roads in those areas are more wet. Well, here, that doesn't seem to be the case. The roads are quite dry here. What we have seen as far as trying to clear the snow out is we have seen some snow plows, and it really does seem to have had a helpful effect for drivers because it's much easier to see the lines on the road. So we are starting to see a little bit more traffic now. You're seeing that cars really are not moving as fast as they can. They're probably going about 40 miles per hour at this point, just trying to avoid any collisions or any issues. We did see one car that appears to have had some trouble right over there, and it is covered in snow. We're not knowing exactly when that car wrecked, but it definitely is just a reminder to stay safe out here and to take it slow. As far as Florida Station and people waiting for the train, we're finally starting to see some signs of life out here. Just a couple of people have waited for the train this morning, and they were just completely covered. They had their parkas, they had their hats, they had their gloves. Definitely, if you're waiting out here, you're going to want to keep probably some warmers in your gloves, maybe even your shoes, because the ground is holding a lot of cold. So just making sure that if you do get out here that you are bundled up. Live in Aurora, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
All good advice there. We know, Jessica, you've got 2 coats on. Not a bad idea this morning. Thank you. The weather isn't impacting DIA as much as it did yesterday. According to FlightAware, there are 14 canceled flights right now and 22 delays. You can get 24/7 Colorado news and weather updates on your TV by downloading the free Denver 7 Plus app on your favorite streaming device.
We have some breaking news this morning and another tough story about youth violence. Police are investigating a quadruple shooting that killed a teen at an Aurora hotel. 3 other people were also hospitalized. Happened at the Quality Inn off North Ouray Street, just south of I-70. Investigators are looking into what happened overnight, but they say there is no threat to the public. It is the 7th murder in Aurora so far this year. Well, we know how challenging it is to find affordable housing right now. There are some proposals out there, both to alleviate the cost and also to make things a little more expensive, whether you're buying or renting.
So this morning, we're continuing our 360 in-depth look at the housing crisis. Today, we'll look at the debate over new licenses for rental properties, a proposal to reward homeowners for renting out a spare room, the rising costs of utilities for new homes, and the latest statewide housing sales report just out this morning.
Starting with landlords who will soon be required to get a license for rental properties in Denver. The application window opens today. Licenses will be good for 4 years and are specific to a single property, but it will also cost property owners to get one. It's $50 for single unit homes and up to $500 for properties with 250 or more units. It also costs $50 to submit an application, and those fees do not cover the cost of inspections, which are required for all properties more than 3 years old. The licensing program was approved unanimously by Denver City Council back in May. City officials say the program helps renters.
There's going to be people who are in a bad situation, especially low-income people, because they can't afford a lawyer. They can't fight the process to fight a landlord who is not being a responsible renter.
But the licensing proposal also received pushback from industry groups like the Colorado Apartment Association and Denver Metro Association of Realtors. Owners of multifamily properties have until next January to get their license. Owners of single unit properties have until January of 2024.
Colorado lawmakers shot down a plan to pay homeowners to rent out their spare rooms. The bill would have set up a 3-year pilot program to provide a $500 incentive payment to homeowners 55 years and older who rented space in their home to someone else for at least 6 months. The bill would have cost the state up to $2 million. It failed in committee this week. Critics are warning about a new natural gas plan that they say could make new homes in Colorado even more expensive. Colorado utility regulators are considering shifting the cost of building natural gas lines to home builders. And right now, those costs are spread out among existing ratepayers. While it would make building a house more expensive and likely that cost would be passed on to the consumer, regulators say they like it because it would push people away from using fossil fuels and turn to more environmentally friendly options.
Well, the statewide housing sales report was also released overnight, and there's good news for sellers, but it is still a really tough market for buyers. Median home prices hit a new record of $555,540. Again, this is statewide, according to the Colorado Association of Realtors. That is up nearly 20% in 1 year, and there were only 6,400 new listings in February. That's down about 10% from a year ago. Some homes are selling quickly, but experts say it's still a good time to buy.
Yes, there's more competition. Yes, they have to give up a little bit more concessions than maybe they did in the past, but it is still possible to buy a home right now at all price points. In our office, we've had as low as $200,000 transactions and as high as $14 million transactions go on just this year. So they occur. It is possible to get a home right now.
And as you heard, there is a wide range of prices across Colorado right now. The Association of Realtors says in Durango, the average sales price in February hit just under $1 million. In Pueblo, the median price is just crossing over the $300,000 mark. Lisa.
It's a cold morning. Temperatures dropping down well below zero. In fact, we hit a low of 7 below. It's a new record low out at DIA this morning. So today is going to be the coldest day on our Super 7 day. We do have some much warmer weather on the way. 50s and even some 60s this weekend. There's a chance that we could see a little more snow today. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a few minutes.
And those icy cold temperatures are making for icy cold roadways, very slick conditions. Even in some areas where you think it's clear, it's still going to be very icy. South Broadway here in Inglewood, northbound side, southbound side going down to Hamden. It's still going to be a little tricky, and the buses are obviously delayed if you're going to be making your way on one of the buses just because of the conditions we're seeing on some of these surface streets.
Move over money. What's motivating millennials looking for a new job? Plus,
we're not heroes, we're normal people, we lead normal lives.
Having just one kidney isn't slowing down this Boulder nurse. She's hoping to inspire other donors by conquering one of the world's tallest mountains today.